Divorce is difficult and painful, yet one local couple found a unique approach to a tight-knit family after ending their marriage. Authors Nikki DiBartolo and Ben Heldfond are here to tell us about the book, Our Happy Divorce. That in itself has people talking. Welcome to the show. How are you guys?
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, this is not necessarily words you think of. You always hear like the horror stories of families wanting nothing to do with each other. So let's go back. Take me back to the day when actually the divorce happens and your guys are like, we want to do this different. Was it a conscious effort that you wanted to do it different, Nikki?
No, it definitely did not start it didn't start out as us doing it differently. It started out as any divorced couple would start, with a lot of animosity, a lot of frustration,
A lot of resentment, pointing the finger at the other person.
Right.
It was the other person's
And
fault,
that's
not
normal.
taking accountability for your actions, and it was headed down a path of the quote-unquote norm. And then I was a child of a not happy divorce. And my parents, it was the 80s, and it was sort of the normal way to get divorced. And I reached a point where I didn't want to do that and have that outcome for my child, our son. So it was a turning point that happened, and we were able to avoid going down the path of a not happy divorce.
Right.
I've heard that some people say if you're facing a divorce that you feel like, man, this didn't work out. I made a poor decision and now it failed, and they beat themselves up about it.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you hear that often, and this though gives people hope in a way. Did you ever imagine that your story would give people hope and kind of change the way people think about divorce?
In the beginning, no. I mean, but then people started seeing our photos together on Instagram, and we would get messages from people that said, explain it to us. How did you do it? Can't you guys write a book? Can't you do something? We're like, we don't know the first thing about writing a book.
Yeah, even when you said authors, Nikki DiBartolo, Ben, I know there are a lot of teachers in San Francisco and Youngstown, Ohio, who are rolling their eyes at the idea that Nikki and Ben are authors. But the purpose of this book is to hopefully inspire others to that there's a different way. We're not doctors, we're not therapists,
Right.
We're just sharing our experience. We're very raw, we're very open in the book, and I think that through that, people can relate, and through the power of relatedness is, I think, where the most change happens.
Well, you took the words out of my mouth. I was actually going to say raw and open, because when you do dive into the book, and by the way, I love how the chapters are done by people's names, and it's like you're writing, Ben writing. I think that's such a clever way to do this book. But when you're starting to read it, it is raw. You go in the details and the good, the bad, the ugly, the things that happen behind closed doors. And you both have been public figures. Talk about being able to open yourself. Was it cathartic or was it nerve-wracking?
It still is. It was really difficult for me. Because I'm a little more reserved and I'm a little more behind the scenes. I'm more behind the scenes with my husband. Like, I like to be with him, but I'm also still, like, I try to keep to myself a lot. But it's actually helped me quite a bit. So I'm actually enjoying it more than I thought I was going to.
She's been doing great. I mean, I joke that the real purpose of writing this book wasn't to help people, but it was to get Nikki on live TV with the red light, because she was so petrified of it.
That's funny.
But you know, the idea behind the writing the book and the openness, I've always been open. I'm a flawed individual, I know that. I've struggled with addiction, I've struggled with alcoholism, and if I can just be, again, share my story, that we're all, no matter where we are, no matter what type of public figure we are or how successful we are, we all have a story. We all have an experience. We all have issues. And, we don't go into the details of what happened in the divorce. And I think that's important because it's not important. Divorce ends how it ends. And we were able to, through apologizing to each other, forgiving each other, and moving forward, the past is the past. Right. So what happened in our marriage doesn't matter.
But what does matter is, though, you've shared your story, you're helping, and you've got some happy families here. If you are interested in getting a copy, of course, check out Our Happy Divorce. You can get it right now. Thank you to the both of you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having us. Thank you.